The story of John Chilembwe is not told in the manner it's supposed to be told, if we can put it that way. It is distorted for various reasons. It suffered suppression for various reasons. The sad part of it is that it's kind of confined to the borders of Malawi, when the story of John Chilembwe is about white supremacy, which is relevant to anywhere where people are suffering from white supremacy or are suffering from the onslaughts of oppression from colonial rule, neo-colonialism.
The uprising was planned on a grand scale because Philip Chinyama of Ncheu could lead forces from Ncheu to Dedza, then Liwonde, but he could also incorporate some from Portuguese East Africa, which is the present Mozambique. And now other forces were to join Chilembwe's forces around Matope in Blantyre, and the group led by Philip could come forward and attack Zomba, which was the colonial capital that time.
Isoja opita kumburumbuzi kuchokera kuchilazulu ena abwerema mandala apa cholinga choti kuti azapeze azatenge zida za nkhondo ndionga ndi zipolopolo. Ena amati anaba koma akuluakulu a history ngati ndachulaja a Shepherdson ndi anzawo a Tom Price komanso a John McCracken amati kuti anapita kukachita acquire zida. Amene amachula kuba ndi enawa koma azungu a history ma authors amenewo amakana kuti sanabe iye anapita kachita kwaye fa iye adalisogolera wanthu ake ndiye chimene kuti apulumutsa anthu ake anati katenga mfuti pamene azungu adali alendo pamene mwini yake dziko adali John Chilembweyo.
Some people may view him as a failure, but no, he was not a failure because the seed which he had sown continued to grow.
There's a significance about the Chilembwe uprising itself, which probably hasn't been well appreciated or well articulated or well understood by many of us. One aspect of the significance of the Chilembwe uprising, or rather the whole story of John Chilembwe, is the connection between the struggle in Nyasaland and the struggle of the Africans in America. Right, the connectivity between the struggle in Nyasaland and the black movement, the black liberation movement, the Pan-African movement championed by the likes of Marcus Garvey and so on and so forth.
The story and success of John Chilembwe has been suppressed in many ways. In the first place, his own church was banned in Nyasaland. For a number of years, there was no PIM operating in Nyasaland for fear that the members of the church could still uprise because they could follow the footsteps of their master.
And beyond that, we also have, the Marcus Garvey, his organization, UNIA, that he was leading, which had launched a publication called The Negro World, which was a magazine that was being published by Marcus Garvey's organization and then circulated across the world. And some of the issues that this magazine, this publication was articulating was about the Chilembwe uprising, right? To the extent that the Nyasaland government, the colonial government, banned this publication from coming to Nyasaland because the fear was this was the most widely read publication which was glorifying the Chilembwe uprising, and that was not a good story for the colonial government, that you have a paper, a magazine that is glorifying the Chilembwe uprising, which was really something that scared the colonial government to the extent that it was banned. to say anyone who is found with a publication produced by Marcus Garvey was actually being arrested for charges of sedition and so on and so forth. And quite a number of people in Nyasaland were found with this publication, were actually arrested, one of which is Issa Lawrence MacDonald, who was found with this publication which had stories about the Chilembwe uprising and so on and so forth. And then he was arrested. He served about some 3 years in jail and then released.
That was not all. Our history has gone in stages. When Malawi became independent in 1964, the story of John Chilembwe was twisted to a tune that it only pointed at the coming of Kamuzu as the Messiah, which was not true at all.
But most importantly, the story of John Chilembwe is the story for the freedom of the Africans, is the story for the struggle of the Africans against white supremacy. It's a Pan-African story, so to speak.
Sijinafike pompasa ulemu wake uyenera. Chifukwa ngomwiga 5 kwacha nkuta gwine is not enough.
For more history lessons, visit www.historyofmalawi.com.